Part 2. Crimson Flower. Great Tree Moon. Field of Revenge. With the capture of Aryan Road complete, the Imperial Army moves to invade the kingdom capital. They plot to send troops toward now vulnerable House Fraldarius territory and plan to attack Ferdiad from two sides.
So, Aryan Road has fallen. Rodrigue, I swear that I will not allow your death to be in vain.
The scouts have just now returned. Seems the Imperial Army is marching toward the kingdom capital. Are you certain about this, Dimitri? As king, do you think it wise to intercept them yourself?
No need to worry yourself. Even if I am defeated, the Blathed bloodline will live on. And the kingdom's territory has never been rich in resources. If the castle falls under siege, our loss is inevitable. I will deploy my army onto the plains and wait for the enemy. Please, position your forces so that they can flank the Imperial Army.
Yes. Given the present situation, making the plains our battlefield is a logical choice. I have no objection. However,
there is only one person I am after. I have no interest in any other prey.
I will take you at your word. Erasing the other child's existence is my task, and mine alone. I will get you back, Mother. I promise.
What do you think, Lady Edelgard? Will they shut themselves inside of Ferdiad?
They will try to intercept us. Of course, Ferdiad will not fall so easily. Even so, if we were to cut off their supply line with a large army, it would eventually fall. It makes much more sense for them to wager everything on a victory at the Tailtean Plains. The same plains where the so-called divine Saros defeated Nemesis, the King of Liberation, in a comeback victory over 1,000 years ago. And about 400 years ago, the hero Lu created the kingdom by defeating the Emperor of the time on those very plains. Their goal must be to recreate that scene.
Yes, I suppose so. Although the Imperial Army is powerful, if we were to compare the strength of our best to the best of the Knights of Saros, we would likely come up short. The Kingdom's army and House Blathed are also renowned for their unmatched persistence. On the battlefield, it can be assumed that their one and only goal will be to strike you down.
Are you telling me to stay off the battlefield?
Naturally. You are their aim, Your Majesty. You must know it only makes sense to keep you out of their reach.
And you must know that, at a time like this, I absolutely cannot withdraw.
Of course I know that. That is why I will refrain from asking you again to stay away from the battlefield.
The Immaculate One, descendants of the 10 elites, and other extremely fearsome foes await us. But with the help of our friends, we have a chance of defeating them. We're the only ones who can. Within our group, I am included among those with the kind of strength we need to win. I absolutely will not remove myself from the front lines. Professor, you have that same strength as well, whether or not you realize it yet. Please, don't get yourself killed trying to protect me. Until the very end, we'll survive this trial together. Understood? I finally found you.
These structures were built more than 1,000 years ago and still remain. Amazing. Most interesting, there's a pattern to the saints' emblems carved into each of the sarcophagi. Here, you'll see if you come take a look.
Perhaps another time. Right now, I have something to discuss with you. You've said before that you don't care about the usefulness of your research. After giving it some thought, I decided that I'd like to create an institution for crest and relic research, and I'd like for you to lead it. All you would need to do is carry out whatever research you like. Somebody else will decide how to make use of your findings. What do you think? I imagine such an environment would suit you quite well.
Let's be clear that I have my reservations, but I suppose I'll take you up on your offer, if you insist. Although I'm unsure if it's a good idea. If my research dries up, you'll be stuck with a worthless institute. I do hope you understand that, Your Majesty.
Why are you skeptical about my proposal?
It's because all I've ever cared about is following my own curiosity, wherever it takes me. Being head of some institution and researching as part of an organized team sounds like no fun at all. At that point, it's not research, it's just a job, and one I've been practically forced into at that. However, since I know you've put a lot of effort into preparing this opportunity for me, and since I like you well enough, I will, begrudgingly, take you up on the offer.
Well then, I suppose I should be grateful. But I'll be honest, I see little point in bringing you on board if you're so troubled by the idea. Let's put this idea on hold for the moment. I'll figure something out for you by war's end. I have great respect for your talent, Linhardt. I'm certain I can find a way to make use of it that's to your liking.
Ah, here you are.
What's up, Lynn? Come to invite me to dinner?
Well, that too, but first there is something I wish to say. I believe I previously implied that it's okay to live out your days by running away from what troubles you. And I think that I was unkind to you.
What are you talking about?
To be honest, while I try to be easygoing, I currently feel a bit uneasy about something. One of the effects of running away constantly is that eventually one runs out of places to, well, run. Because I avoid memories I find unpleasant, the number of things I avoid is forever increasing. I've never learned to deal with the pain of my past, so I can never increase my tolerance toward new pains.
And?
That's all. But there are some nights where it really worries me.
That's what you wanted to say? It'd be the same if you weren't avoiding things. You'd just be up at night wondering what was coming next. Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate you showing me a glimpse of your real self for the first time.
For the first time? Each time I speak, I show my real self.
So, what about that conversation we had?
Which conversation?
When you said I was a great woman, was that true?
Of course. You have too low an opinion of yourself.
I thought you were just trying to make me feel better. I didn't really think you looked at me that way, Lynn.
Why? Is it so strange? You seemed rather happy about it at the time.
It's not weird. Okay, it's kind of weird. You're weird, Lynn. You know, I'm hungry all of a sudden. Maybe I laughed too much.
Good. I was going to invite you to dinner.
You were?
When I walked in, you asked if I'd come to invite you to dinner. I said yes, but I can't be bothered to walk into town. Shall we visit the dining hall?
What? Oh, fine. Show me this easygoing way of yours.
I could use a hand.
How about Ferdiad, the kingdom capital? From the Empire's perspective, it seems like the northernmost edge of the world. I have come a long way following you and Edelgard. To think, what if I had succeeded Duke Ire as Prime Minister? I would never have had all these experiences. I hope that is true. I used to be so naive. For now, let us join together and walk the path that Her Majesty lays out. How could you How could you possibly think that is mine? How could How could How
Okay. Okay? Maybe.
That reminds me, if the enemy forces come to intercept us, chances are high that we'll clash on the Tailtean Plains. The Tailtean Plains were the site of a famous battle in ancient times, right? That's what some book type at the library said, at any rate.
Okay. I'm thinking...
Rumor has it, King Dimitri is always accompanied by a man from... And what's more, this man is said to be so huge...
Professor, I have worries. What have I been achieving? When the war is ended, I will be returning to Brigid with much new potential. But have I had enough growth to become the ruler? I have gratitude. I will take your words into my heart. Brigid pride, techniques, and culture. I will be showing all of the world who we are. This is not... This is not... This is not... This is not belong... This is not belonging to me.
Professor? Greetings, Professor. Nothing to report. The time has finally come to set out for the kingdom capital, Ferdiad. I thought the same thing last month, but I still can't believe the plan was to ambush Aryan Road. I know it couldn't be helped, but even I wasn't let in on the secret. Me! Not gonna lie, that hurt a little. Ah, well, let's forget about that. I'm praying for your victory and your safe return.
Hey! Welcome! Come back soon!
Oh.
No.
Hey!
I thought you were going to attack the kingdom capital, but you attacked Aryan Road instead? Well, you sure had me fooled. She's a tricksy one, that Lady Edelgard. But this time, you really are going for the capital, right? I wish you the best of luck.
Hey! Yeah.
Hello.
Pardon me. I have a fiancée back home, and I promised her I'd come back alive. No matter how tough the fight gets, I won't die. I have to survive and make it back to her.
Let me see. Yeah.
Hello there.
That reminds me.
Thanks. I'm glad I asked you. Before I left the church, I recall Lady Rhea saying something strange. Something about how she would recover her mother, no matter what. Do you think Lady Rhea's mother is buried in Garrick Mach or something?
Professor, let me sing for you. Do you not like my voice? It would make a Pegasus dance with joy.
I'll keep my voice down. Don't want people thinking I'm vying for attention. But how loud is too loud?
Need something? This one? You're all set. This one? You're all set. See you again soon.
Professor? This month, we will take all of the military force we can muster and advance to the kingdom capital of Ferdiad. I have no intention of retreating to Garrick Mach after we've come this far. We will only return after we've conquered Ferdiad and put an end to this war. Be sure to steel your heart and ready yourself for the battle ahead. Are you certain? If so, please help me raise the morale of our allies. A lost item. A lost item. Thank you. I'm glad you called me here. Thank you. This is lovely. Yes. Yes. Hmm? Yes. Yes. Wow. You're always so calm. Thank you for the treat. This was fun. I hope you'll invite me again. Be sure to steel your heart. I appreciate it.
When Edelgard first invited me to join this army, to be frank, thought her dream utterly ridiculous. But at my advanced age, I was tempted by the notion of chasing a seemingly impossible dream through blood, sweat, and tears. 5 years on, the unification of Fodlan is slowly becoming a reality. Now I feel it may soon be possible to abolish the nobility and create a world where none need suffer due to crests. You need not say anything. I will stay by your side, and hers, to the very end.
Professor, do you mind if I complain about something, well, personal? Of course you don't. This army is almost all single men. If that marital status came before or during the war, I'm not to say. The point is, I'm in charge of the infirmary. I wind up treating hundreds of men every week. I get to talk to all sorts of men from all walks of life, all of the time. And yet... Yeah, I'm starting to figure that's the most realistic option. At this point, you're the only man who pays attention to me. I guess I'll have to take what I can get. Oh, Professor! This...
When you think of it, as one approaches the end of a war, the sacrifices only grow larger, don't they? The winning side musters their forces and attempts to strike a decisive blow, while those of the losing side make desperate attempts to turn the war in their favor. Neither side will give. I only wish we'd consider those who lose their lives in that struggle. I can appreciate that, but just because a choice is better does not mean that it's good. It's not. It's not. It's not. Well, this is... Well...
Lord Arundel. As long as he exists, Lady Edelgard will... I believe I have explained before that he is the one who commanded the likes of Solon and Kranya. Cornelia, whom we defeated at Aryan Road, was also one of his. An irksome sort. We must not fail to be rid of him. He is a maggot, crawling in the filth of the world, feeding off the Empire like a parasite.
Professor!
That reminds me. Over 1,000 years ago now, not long after the Adrestian Empire was founded, the first emperor and his army, with the aid of Saros, set out on a campaign to the north with the aim of unifying Fodlan. Meanwhile, in the northern reaches of Fodlan, Nemesis, the King of Liberation, raised an army to take down the Empire. Both armies clashed on the Tailtean Plains, where Saros felled Nemesis. As a result, the conflict ended in a victory for the Empire. It's known as the Battle of Tailtean.
They used to call my father the Shield of Fargus. Now he's gone, and Aryan Road has fallen. Yet the Knights of Saros remain, as does the Boar. What terrifies me most is his stubbornness. He'll keep on fighting to the last man. He's a monster. I've seen it firsthand.
The war is at its end. Has the time finally come that I might kill you? It is true. Those petulant fleas must be picked off one by one. They are nothing if not persistent. I don't recognize. I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't recognize that. I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't recognize. I don't. I don't. I don't recognize that.
I wonder what the captain would say if he knew Lady Rhea and Captain Gerald went back pretty... But hey, it's your decision. Now, onward to Ferdiad. I'm ready.
Not much.
What? Wow!
All right, next. One to remember. You haven't earned my pity. One to remember. One to remember.
Once you set out on your next mission, you won't be able to have a proper meal for a while, right? You should eat up while you can. Build up your physical strength to prepare for the mission.
What? We're almost to the kingdom capital of Ferdiad. Just imagine, the war might almost be over. But is it true that Aryan Road was annihilated? What in the world happened? What is the Saros Church, really?
Fair enough. Let's just focus on this battle right now.
I'm sorry, but... I see. Ah, did you want something? Sorry, I was a bit lost in thought. Or rather, I was thinking about work. My brother had sorted out all his personal affairs. Apparently, he'd forgotten about his work duties. So now I've got a ton more work on my plate. Oh, brother, why must you be so careless? Once this war is over, I'm gonna take a vacation and get some well-earned rest. Back home with my mother.
The idea of defeating Rhea is beginning to feel more like a reality. Some may say that I'm returning her goodwill with betrayal, but I believe I've worked off my debt. The real problem is a certain someone else. That's right. She was my partner, after all. I haven't seen her since leaving the Knights. I can see her coming to slaughter me, driven by her mixed emotions of love and hate.
The Knights of Saros are led by the Archbishop herself, and the Kingdom Army is led by none other than the King. I have faith that the Imperial Army will prevail, but it still makes my knees feel a bit wobbly.
What should I do? Everyone's acting like this is leading up to the final chapter in a book or something. Is the battle ahead really going to be that climactic? Am I not taking it seriously enough? Yeah, you're probably right. I should take a breath and try to calm down. Wow, thank you so much!
Hey!
Yeah. All right, off to the kingdom capital we go. Huh. I feel like I've said that before. All right, I'm fired up and ready to go.
Professor?
My cooking is so good, it's been... right. I do so enjoy cutting up vegetables in preparation to cook. Oh.
Can we put our quarrel on hold?
Of course we can, Hubert. We will finish eating and then continue.
Oh, I love this meal. How did you know?
This food brings fond memories.
I think I like this, but it's been a while, so I'm not sure.
This is my most favorite dish of all.
I can eat some.
I would be liking that greatly.
Nothing worth celebrating. Praise isn't necessary. Nothing.
I'd never have learned this back. Thanks for the help. I appreciate your coach. I appreciate... I got it? You're quite the I appreciate...
You have my thank. You have my. Your guidance was.
You're a good... That wasn't difficult. I'm finding my... Your praise is appreciated.
How embarrassing. It is a law. It's within my...
question? Whatever you say.
Yes? Oh, it's you, Professor. I was certain it was Hubert coming to drag me back to my duties. Your Majesty, you must know your supreme talents are needed at present. Why not gaze at these documents instead of the sky? Doesn't it? And the worst part is that he's always right, so I can't even argue with him. But that's enough about Hubert for the moment. While I have your attention, I'd like to thank you for your help in that last battle. As you well know, I'm perfectly capable of commanding the army by myself. However, when you're around, it's somehow different. I'm not sure I can properly explain it. I suppose your perspective on the battlefield is simply sharper than mine. When you're devising tactics and tricks for us, it's almost as though you can read the enemy's mind. There's no getting around it. Your talent for strategy far exceeds my own. I'm quite jealous, in all honesty. Is that a fact? Well, if you insist. I suppose a flower from another's field is always more beautiful. I'll admit, I think of you as rather detached, so to hear that you have emotions such as jealousy is something of a relief. I can't deny it. Ever since I underwent those procedures, I've certainly distanced myself from the ordinary world. Friends. That word somehow doesn't seem adequate. Besides, we've been friends for a long time, you and I. By now, we're so much more than that, at least in my mind. You know, instead of Edelgard, you can call me just Elle, if you so please. That's what my parents and closest sisters used to call me when I was little. Now there's no one left who calls me Elle. But with you, well, I think I could allow it. In fact, it would mean a great deal to me. Why? Well, you have stood beside me and shared my burdens. As I said, you are much more than a friend. In truth, you are like family to me. I suppose that's why.
Nice place, isn't it, Professor? Standing here, you can almost feel the goddess's absence. Discounting what dwells within you, of course. Do you think some punishment would rain down from the sky if this monastery were to be destroyed? Of course not. Even if the so-called Immaculate One came back here for revenge, that would only be a result of this war, not the work of a deity. If it is between love and hate, then I would choose the latter. The goddess failed to properly govern this world. That is why it is necessary for Lady Edelgard to become the supreme leader of Fodlan. Those with power must use it wisely. Is that not a teaching of the Church of Seros? It's absurd to preach to others what you cannot practice yourself. Yes. It is our humanity that pushes us to step up and take the lead should the need arise. That is not the case for inhuman creatures with lifespans well beyond our own. We must fight to preserve what makes us human. You are the one closest to the enemy. I wonder if you will be able to maintain your humanity to the end. You make it sound easy. I find myself trusting you, even with my life. I've already dedicated my life to Lady Edelgard. To throw my lot in with you is inconceivable. But if I had 2 lives to give, I might devote one of them to you. Not as master and servant, but as equal partners.
Ah, yes. Professor, what brings you out so late? I've been worrying about something. I asked you once to help me achieve my goal of being a person who can simply nap all day. Then I thought, if the world becomes a peaceful place, all my crest research might be for naught. Well, I don't see how crests have much use in times of peace. Certainly there are crests that make you stronger and could be used in engineering. And I suppose crests that increase magical abilities might help doctors heal injuries. Still, the possibilities seem limited. It's as if crests were designed to be used only in times of war. Their power meant to bring about death and destruction. I cannot prove what I say is true, but suppose for a moment that it is. The longer this war goes on, the more useful my crest research becomes. But if the war were to end today, we would go on living, perhaps not using the power of our crests at all. It is truly my dream to be a crest scholar, but I also dream of all the wonderful naps peace would bring. Saying it all out loud, it feels a rather stupid thing to worry over. Knowledge or peace, sleep or war. Thank you, Professor. I appreciate the sentiment. Although if I stop researching crests, I'll have one less excuse to spend time with you. Professor, don't make faces like that. People like you, who listen to my blathering and then nod and smile as though what I say matters, people like you are very precious to me.
We've got this!
This should be easy enough.
We're on a roll! I think I'm improving.
One step before the next step.
Perhaps I'll expand the scope of my research.
I suppose this will serve me well.
It's within my grasp.
It's starting to feel like a part of...
I suppose it's working.
Nothing. Praise is... Nothing. Nothing. Another skill.
You're in... The battle. The battle is all in hand. It is all in hand.
Seems simple.
Let's do this. What now?
That was... This... I understand. That was help. I must continue.
That went... Thanks for... Nailed! I think I'm improved. I'll get it next time. Thanks for your...
Professor.
Lord Yuritsa? I believe he used to be a professor at the Officers' Academy. It was also my understanding that he was personally recommended by Lord Arundel himself, landing him a position as a sword instructor.
Whatever the case is, behind that mask of death, there's an emptiness, a void. This is probably just a rumor, but I heard he was found and taken in by Her Majesty herself. Supposedly, he's the heir of the Hrim family, but I also heard he's only a distant relative who was adopted. He sure is mysterious.
You've been asking around about me. It matters not to me, one way or the other. Do you want to know of my past? Why? Friend or foe, that's what you're trying to determine. But you won't find answers merely with words. There is only one path forward. Raise your sword if you have the nerve. Raise it and fight me. If you want to know my heart, know my sword. It's only to spar. Nobody will be slain. I cannot kill you yet. The Death Knight knows that very well. I've been told to refrain from killing you until the war has ended. I came to an understanding with the Emperor herself and agreed to do her bidding. The young Emperor discovered me long ago, though back then she was still a princess. Ultimately, it was she who erased my past. She placed me into a family that was disintegrating, that I might be their heir. Indeed, my past. My crimes for killing a useless man and his kin. To survive, the Death Knight must spill blood. Left to his own devices, he would kill innocent passers-by. Through the Emperor's grace, he was allowed hunting grounds. That is why, to this day, I follow her. I am not yet ready to yield such fertile hunting grounds. Nor am I ready to truly fight you. Of course, were I not here to hold him back, he would cut you down without hesitation. As for me, I too... never mind. If you've no intention of fighting, then be gone. Perhaps it is he who is to blame, but I feel oddly when I look at you.
What an interesting way of looking at life. Ah, it is you. Just at the right time. Oh, is it nighttime already? I must have gotten carried away. There is something I wanted to discuss. Something about you. I am starting to believe that you are a true hero. You hold the Lost Crest, you wield the Sword of the Creator, and you lead everyone in battle against great enemies. Not only that, but you are a strategist. You stand alongside rulers, supporting them, advising them. You do not seem particularly ambitious, and yet you accomplish so much. I am amazed that you can say so. I have been reading about the history of Fargus, you know. The kingdom's founder, Lug, the king of lions, had 2 advisors. One of them was Pan, the undesiring strategist. According to historical records, Pan wanted nothing for himself. He devoted himself entirely to Lug. He had tremendous power, but he never seemed concerned about his legacy. So in the old chronicles, there is hardly any mention of Pan's deeds. All that we know is that he helped Lug, his friend and leader. It is not surprising that you have never heard of him. I did not even know his name until recently. But when I watch how you conduct yourself, I feel that I am seeing the unknown deeds of Pan. It is only a thought, of course, but it makes me feel rather happy. Even if it is not in the pages of a history book, a life can be full of achievement. I know that I will never be greater than Edelgard. She will always surpass me. I am what I am. Like you and this undesiring strategist. I will do what I am called to do, even if no mark of me remains in the history books.
If you insist on inviting me here, I don't mind. Thank you. Flavorful. What? Yes. Oh my. What? While I am quite busy, this is not a waste of my time. I am grateful for the opportunity to observe you. Yes. Professor. Professor. Thank you. This was more enjoyable than I thought.
Our results speak volumes.
Growth sustains me.
I suppose it's working.